Most Hot Wheels collections never get seen. They spend years in boxes, hidden in closets, tucked away in storage, and mine was no different. Welcome back to Dom's Diecast Vault. For almost a year now, one comment keeps popping up on this channel. I've got thousands of Hot Wheels, but they're all packed away. And I realized I was doing the same thing, but today we're going to change that. I'm turning this room into what I hope becomes the ultimate Hot Wheels display, starting with premiums. First up, Dragstrip Demons. I wanted to start with Dragstrip Demons because it's one of my favorite car culture sets. The whole theme is built around the golden age of drag racing. Cars that were either born on the strip or became legends because racers transformed them into 1/4 mile monsters. And that's what I like about these premium sets, is that they tell a story instead of just throwing 6 random cars together. You've got the 65 Dodge Coronet, Volkswagen Classic Bug, 64 Chevy Nova Gasser, 73 Plymouth Duster, and an all-new casting for that year, the 33 Willys. And just like that, the first exhibit is up on the wall. Alright, for this next section, I really wasn't sure which direction I wanted to go. I had a few options on the table: Super Mario, Exotic Envy, Jay Leno's Garage, Hanna-Barbera. But the more I looked at the wall, the more I felt like I needed to keep going with the automotive theme. So I decided to go Japan Historics. And honestly, I think Japan Historics 5 was the perfect choice. Hot Wheels has done several Japan Historic releases over the years, but this one really captures some of the most iconic cars to come out of Japan's golden era. Whether you're into classic Skylines, rotary Mazdas, or vintage Toyotas, this set is basically a love letter to Japanese car culture. Alright, 2 sections down, but we've still got a lot of empty wall left. Alright, this next section took me a little while to figure out. I looked at my Beatles sets, the Led Zeppelin cars, some Exotic Envy, and honestly I wasn't sure any of them belonged. But in the end, I decided to use this section for some of my favorite premium cars from incomplete sets. Normally I like keeping complete collections together, but I couldn't justify leaving some of these in a tote just because they were missing 1 or 2 cars. One of the biggest reasons I collect premiums isn't because of the diecast itself, it's the card art. I think Hot Wheels absolutely nails the artwork on these releases, and sometimes I'll buy premium just because the cards look that good. Next up on the wall is the 2020 Car Culture Door Slammers set. This really might be one of my favorite premium sets Hot Wheels has ever released. The whole theme is centered around classic touring car racing from the 60s and 70s, when these cars were battling door-to-door on road courses all over Europe. You've got the Porsche 911, BMW 2002, Datsun 510, Alfa Romeo GTA, and the Ford Escort RS 1600. They're all icons from that era, but what really makes this set stand out to me isn't even the cars themselves, it's the artwork. Instead of just putting a picture of each car on the card, Hot Wheels turned every package into what looks like vintage watercolor racing posters. You can actually see the cars chasing each other around the corners, and when you line the whole setup together, it feels like you're looking at one moment from a race instead of 6 separate packages. And that's exactly why this set had to go on the wall. It's not just 6 great castings, it's 6 pieces of automotive artwork. The more I build this wall, the more I realize I'm not organizing Hot Wheels anymore. I'm curating them. Each section has a different theme, a different era, a different story to tell. And that was really the goal with this wall. I don't just want it to be a place to hang Hot Wheels. I want each section to represent a different chapter of automotive history. American drag racing, Japanese legends, European touring cars. I want someone to be able to walk into this room and appreciate each era on its own. And here's my personal favorite, the 71 Porsche 911. That car is awesome. Next up is one of the more unique premium releases in my collection. Instead of celebrating a specific manufacturer or era of racing, this set is a tribute to some of the brands that have been part of automotive culture for decades. We got Castrol, Lucas Oil, Kendall, Union 76, and Motul. Brands that have been on race cars, garages, service stations, and shop walls for generations. Hot Wheels turned each one into its own premium release, with vehicles like the Volkswagen T1 panel bus, custom 62 Chevy pickup, Combat Medic, Holland Gas, and Datsun 620. I actually wanted this set right in the center because I think it represents something bigger than just the cars. Motorsports have always been tied to these brands, whether it's oil companies, fuel companies, or racing sponsors. Those logos are part of the history of car culture. And honestly, that's the direction I want this room to go. I want to add vintage oil signs, old racing advertisements, maybe even some neon down the road, so it starts to feel less like a room full of Hot Wheels and more like walking into an old school garage or automotive museum. I'd love to hear your ideas on this one. If you were building your dream Hot Wheels room, what would you add? Vintage signs, neon, gas pumps, manufacturer banners? Let me know in the comments because I want to keep building this room together. So at this point, I had pretty much exhausted all of my Exotic Envy sets, but there were still a few individual premiums that I couldn't just leave in a box. These two Porsches are probably two of my favorite premium castings I own. The Race Day Porsche 935 is finished in KW Suspensions race livery with those white wheels, and I think it just looks incredible. And then you've got the Porsche 962 from Circuit Legends wearing the iconic Gulf colors. The light blue and orange livery is one of the most recognizable paint schemes in motorsports, and it looks good on just about anything. And I know they don't belong in the same set, but they belong together in my mind, and that's enough for me. Next up is fast wagons, and I know station wagons probably aren't the first thing most people think of when they think of performance cars, but I've always loved them. This set includes the Volvo P220 Amazon wagon, the Volvo 850 Estate, the 69 Nissan Skyline van, the 64 Chevy Nova panel, and the 17 Audi RS6 Avant. I've never really been the guy who's obsessed with the fastest car and the biggest horsepower number. I've always gravitated towards cars with a little more personality, low, clean, and just a ton of style, and that's exactly what this set captures. If I had to pick a favorite, it's definitely the Volvo P220 Amazon wagon. It's one of those cars that's just effortlessly cool. It debuted as a brand new Hot Wheels casting in this Fast Wagons release, and the Volvo Amazon was known for its timeless design and durability. And again, the card art is what really sells it for me. All 5 cars are illustrated together in this low, cruising scene, and it gives the whole set this laid-back vibe that fits it perfectly. Alright, now we switch gears a little bit with mountain drifters. This set is inspired by Japan's mountain passes, where drifting really became part of automotive culture. You've got the AE86 Torino, the Honda NSX Type R, the Super Silhouette Skyline, the Toyota Celica GT4, and the Mitsubishi 3000 GT VR4. To me, this set is like a time capsule of the cars that got so many people into Japanese performance. This was the era I grew up watching. Early 2000s street racing, drifting, movies like The Fast and the Furious, and video games like Need for Speed. These cars were what everybody dreamed about. They weren't just transportation anymore, they had personality. And once again, Hot Wheels absolutely nailed the artwork. Instead of static pictures, every card shows the cars charging down a mountain road together. It makes the whole set feel like one scene instead of 5 separate cars. And that's why I wanted these premiums displayed so prominently on the wall. They're not just 5 random diecast cars, they're capturing an entire era and the feeling that came along with it. Right underneath Mountain Drifters, I wanted to add a few Fast and Furious cars because, at least to me, they kind of go hand in hand. I've got the Koenigsegg CC-XR, the Acura Integra GSR sedan, and the 99 Nissan Maxima, and honestly, these movies had a huge impact on an entire generation of car enthusiasts. I haven't seen every Fast and Furious movie, I think there's like 100 of them now, but those first few, I absolutely grew up on them. They made Japanese imports, street racing, and car culture feel larger than life. For a lot of us, that was the first time we saw cars become the stars of the movie. Whether it was the music, tuning scene, late night street races, those movies inspired a lot of people to get into cars. And honestly, I think Hot Wheels did a great job capturing a little bit of that with these releases. And I think they fit perfectly right underneath the Mountain Drifters. Together, they represent an era of car culture that a lot of us grew up with, and it just feels right seeing them side by side. Next up are a couple of cars from the Modern Classic series. Even though I don't have the entire set on the wall yet, these two are way too cool to leave in a box. You've got the Fiat 131 Abarth and the Volkswagen Corrado VR6. What I love about the Modern Classics line is that it celebrates cars that might not have been the fastest or the most expensive, but they become icons because of the impact they had on enthusiasts and car culture. Next up is EuroSpeed, and this set is all about European hypercars. You've got Bugatti, Ferrari, McLaren, Aston Martin, all brands that have become symbols of automotive excellence. This 2025 car culture release brings them all together as one celebration of modern European performance. And I think that's why people are so fascinated by these cars. Most of us are never going to own a Bugatti or a Ferrari, but that's never really been the point. These cars represent what's possible when engineers and designers build something without any compromises. They're rolling pieces of art. And that's another reason I wanted them on the wall. They had a completely different feel from the vintage race cars and Japanese classics. It's like every section is another chapter in automotive culture. And that's what I love about Hot Wheels. For a few dollars, you can appreciate cars that most of us will only see in magazines, at car shows, or on YouTube. So now I'm curious, which one are you taking? The Bugatti, the Ferrari, McLaren, Aston Martin? If you could drive just one home, let me know in the comments. If you've enjoyed this video so far, do me a favor, click like right now and subscribe so you don't miss any part of this display being built. Let's get back to the video. Next up is Ronin Run, and I actually had to look this one up. A Ronin was a masterless samurai in feudal Japan, someone who lived by their own code. I think Hot Wheels picked that name perfectly because this whole scene celebrates Japanese performance cars that became legends by doing things their own way. You've got the 95 Mazda RX-7, Nissan 300ZX Twin Turbo, Toyota Starlet KP61, Subaru Impreza 22B STI, and the Mazda RX-7 FC Pandem. They're all icons from Japan's golden era of performance cars. Japanese car culture has had a massive influence around the world. Lightweight cars, turbocharging, drifting, time attack, tuning. So much of what enthusiasts enjoy today traces back to that scene that grew in Japan in the 80s and 90s. That influence eventually made its way into American car culture too, whether through magazines, video games, or movies. And once again, Hot Wheels absolutely nailed the artwork. I love these cards on every single one of them. I love how the wall keeps changing personalities. 1 minute it's vintage American muscle, then European touring cars, and now we're right back into Japanese tuner culture. And that's exactly the kind of variety I wanted this room to have. Next up is 2022 car culture Deutschland Design, and I think this is one of the coolest themed premium sets Hot Wheels has done. It's a tribute to German engineering featuring Porsche, Mercedes-Benz, and Audi, brands that have built a reputation for precision, performance, and some of the greatest driver's cars ever made. Whether it's carving up the Autobahn, dominating endurance racing, or competing in the DTM touring cars, Germany has had an enormous influence on automotive history, and that's why these cars are so respected all over the world. One thing I've always admired about German cars is that they don't chase horsepower. They're known for building cars that feel engineered from the ground up to perform, whether it's a Porsche 911 on a racetrack or a Mercedes wagon cruising down the highway. And just like the other premium sets, Hot Wheels tied everything together with the artwork. It doesn't feel like 5 separate cars, it really does feel like one complete collection. That's exactly why I wanted Deutschland Design next to the other theme sets. Every row represents a different corner of automotive culture, and Germany has absolutely earned its place on this wall. And I think that's what's making this display work. We're not just hanging Hot Wheels anymore, we're building a timeline of the automotive world, one theme at a time. Alright, I think this is a pretty good stopping point. We've got 3 full rows up now, and honestly, I think it already looks 1,000 times better than the way I had it before. Now, this corner I'm not sold on. I ended up putting the Mario set down there, threw a few random premiums over here. Then I had this poor Audi RS2 Avant that just didn't make the team. It's basically the last kid to get picked in dodgeball. I know it deserves a spot, I just haven't figured out where yet. And that's the kind of fun part of this project. I didn't expect this room to be perfect after one video. I actually hope it isn't. I want this thing to evolve over time. Maybe I need another row, maybe I need another wall, maybe I need to just buy more premiums. So I need your help. If this was your collection, what would you do with this corner? Would you keep the incomplete sets together, separate them by manufacturer, add another row? I genuinely want to hear your ideas because this room is going to keep changing. Only about 4,900 to go. If you enjoyed this one, make sure you're subscribed because next episode we're tackling the rest of this wall, and it's only the beginning. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.